Good morning, church family. I hope you're doing well. I hope to encourage you this morning as we continue to look forward at what is going to happen in our nation in which we live. It is ever so important not to hope for someone to be in office, but rather in the one who sits mightily in control. Our hope desperately needs not to be in certain circumstances around us, but rather steadfastness, faith, and joy, no matter the circumstances. Understand this then: if we feel safer or more secure if one politician or another is in office, then that is a sure sign that our faith is misplaced and is not in God, and our faith is not in the one who rules his kingdom with a sure hand. If we are tossed to and fro with every change of the political landscape, then we are a double-minded person and unstable in all of our ways. As we will eventually pick up in Galatians for 1 week before we begin Advent, we will begin to dig in, and what Paul is dealing with is in his emphasis on getting the gospel right. So I want to consider a couple verses this morning that we'll probably end up hitting again. Paul says in his first letter to the Thessalonians in chapter 2, he states, we had much boldness in our God to declare to you the gospel of God in the midst of much conflict. Church, the loudness of our voice needs to be heard, and it needs to be the gospel. Not all the injustices, not all the wickedness, not your political choice that will make things right. It needs to be the hope of the gospel. He goes on, but just as we had been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel, so we speak, not to please man, but to please God who tests our hearts. For we never came with words of flattery, as you know, nor with a pretext for greed. God is witness. Nor did we seek glory from people, whether from you or from others, though we could have made demands as apostles of Christ. But we were gentle among you, like a nursing mother taking care of her own children. So being affectionately desirous of you, we were ready to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you had become very dear to us. What is the cost to following Jesus? Who is your audience? Where do you want all glory to be seen? If there is not a death of the flesh, are we following Christ? For whom do we truly live? For self or for the God of comfort and ease? Amos in the Old Testament cried out to God's people, woe to those who live in ease in Zion, the fortress of Jerusalem, while turmoil and conflict was all around them, while they laid on their beds of ivory. Who do we live to please? Do we live to please ourselves, that people affirm us, or do we live for the glory of God? At what cost do we bring the gospel to the world? At what priority? What have we sacrificed for the sake of people hearing the gospel? I've got news. America is under God's judgment. It doesn't matter who's in office. America was under God's judgment under Trump, and it will be under his judgment if Biden gets in. Do you see the cost at which they brought the gospel? That they would give their very lives, the priority of their own life they gave, so that others might hear it. You see, I feel like America is hardened, deeply hardened in their sin. The fallowed ground needs to be broken up. As Ezekiel was warned by God, he would be rejected with the message of God to repent. But he was given joy, even in their reaction, to know that he laid his life down for the sake of God's glory. You see, our country may look very different 5 to 10 years. Are we ready for the battle? Are we ready to engage the world with the gospel? Are we ready to suffer for his name? Are we ready to lose comfort? Are we ready to lose luxuries? Are we ready to embrace difficulty and shame so that we may experience the fullness of God's joy? I pray that our gods of comfort and ease will be torn down so that we may freely give of ourselves and our life for the sake of the gospel and for those who are separated from God because of their sin. Fervently pray that God will raise up his church to show the true light that is come into this world. Be confident in the one who promises to never leave or forsake his church. He is good above all, and be sure of that this day. May God bless you. Have a great day.